So who will be our modern day Apostle Paul? I don't know if you've ever tried this exercise or this hypothesis. Is there somebody in our world today that is seemingly against Christianity, seemingly trying to tear it down, but they would be the best story if they converted to Christ? We're going to take a look at this, and I'm going to give you might have saw the title, so you might see who I'm going towards, but there are a lot of candidates out there. So I immediately think of Bill Maher. He would be a huge one for me because it would be tough to take him off of that throne that I would put up, because I think of him as the guy who is usually, he made the movie Religulous. He made Christians look crazy. He is equal opportunity, though. He goes against all faiths. So I like him about that. He doesn't just completely go after Christianity. He throws in Islam as well as any other ones that are out there that seem a little nuts. And I understand that Christianity on its face is nuts. And that's the way it's supposed to be. On its face, it seems crazy. So I respect his candidness when he goes after all the faiths and he throws in Christianity as well. Christianity is just an easy target. It's an easy target, you know. It's not one that's really going to fight back. We're told to turn the other cheek. So if we did fight back, we really wouldn't be doing what the master says to do. So as opposed to Islam, there you get in a little more dicey water. Then I also go to Richard Dawkins. He's another guy I think of when I think of. He is very combative against Christianity. He's very smart, but even the smartest guys out there, that's what is very puzzling, that you can be so smart, the most brilliant scientist out there, but if you are putting your face against the creator and you're not seeing the creator behind it, the artist behind the painting, you might be missing the boat compared to a little child who looks at a flower on the field and is like, that's awesome, praise God. That's the difference, you know? Because you can look at somebody who builds something, who creates something, and what they've made looks awesome, and you can respect it, but if you're not kind of giving your honor and just respect to the person behind it, you might be missing the boat. All right, I'm going to turn this towards Alex O'Connor because I saw this video yesterday. Let's actually take a clip of it. It's really good. It's from him as well. He was on a podcast, and they asked him, "Are you going to be the next Apostle Paul?" I'm going to show you the whole clip. It's very good from beginning to the end, and the very end of it. I want you to see if you can catch this, what he says, which is really eye-opening.
Maybe you're the next Apostle Paul, you know, and it's your wonderful conversion straight after this show, Alex. Which finally, you know,
all I'm asking for is something just like what Paul experienced. I tell you, Justin, if I experience even just in the form of a flash of light, like St. Paul, although you know, dubious circumstances, I have to say, but even something just like that, just once, one time. Listen, here I am. And then gone. I could live on that for the rest of my entire life. Because a lot of people say, well, one reason why God is hiding himself is because if he made himself constantly present in your life, he's like having a father figure staring over your shoulder. I agree, but I'm not asking for God to sort of hold my hand through this lived experience. I'm asking once. Okay. And not even for like an overwhelming religious experience with a big waterfall and, you know, a fall to my knees, but just enough to form a belief that he exists. If I can have just that, just once, then I'll become the most prolific Christian apologist that you've ever met.
All right, right there. So, and before I kind of analyze what Paul was that, am I speaking just into the existence, you know, what's going to happen? And before I start speaking about Alex and what he's saying right there, because a lot of it stood out to me, I want to read to you the actual conversion of the Apostle Paul, Acts chapter 9. It's about 21 verses. But Saul, that's his name at first, but Saul, still breathing threats and murder against the disciples of the Lord, went to the high priest and asked him for letters to the synagogues at Damascus, so that if he found any belonging to the way, men or women, he might bring them bound to Jerusalem. Now, as he went on his way, he approached Damascus, and suddenly a light from heaven shone around him, and falling to the ground, he heard a voice saying to him, "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" And then he said, "Who are you, Lord?" And he said, "I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting. But rise and enter the city, and you will be told what you are to do." The men who were traveling with him stood speechless, hearing the voice but seeing no one. Saul rose from the ground, and although his eyes were opened, he saw nothing. So they led him by the hand and brought him into Damascus. And for 3 days he was without sight, and neither ate nor drank. Now there was a disciple at Damascus named Ananias. The Lord said to him in a vision, "Ananias." And he said, "Here I am, Lord." And the Lord said to him, "Rise and go to the street called Straight, and at the house of Judas look for a man of Tarsus named Saul, for behold, he is praying. And he has seen in a vision a man named Ananias come in and lay his hands on him so that he might regain his sight." But Ananias answered, "Lord, I have heard from many about this man, how much evil he has done to your saints at Jerusalem. And he has authority from the chief priest to bind all who call on your name." But the Lord said to him, "Go, for he is a chosen instrument of mine to carry my name before the Gentiles and kings and the children of Israel. For I will show him how much he must suffer for the sake of my name." So Ananias departed and entered the house, and laying his hands on him, he said, "Brother Saul, the Lord Jesus, who appeared to you on the road by which you came, has sent me to you so that you may regain your sight and be filled with the Holy Spirit." And immediately something like scales fell from his eyes, and he regained his sight. Then he rose and was baptized. And taking food, he was strengthened. For some days he was with the disciples at Damascus. And immediately he proclaimed Jesus in the synagogue, saying, "He is the Son of God." That's the conversion story of Paul. Later we find out his name changes to Paul. Saul is kind of like his Hebrew name, and then it changes to his more kind of diaspora name. When he's out in the world and going to all the Gentiles, going to all the nations, his name changes to Paul. A lot of people have their Jewish name, just like Peter. He had Cephas was his Hebrew name or his Jewish name, or Shimon, Jesus changed his name to Cephas. His name was Simon, Shimon, and he changed his name to Cephas, which is in Greek, Peter. A lot of languages out there. We don't deal with that as much in America. We have primarily English. It slipped out. English. We have primarily English, but there's also, Spanish and all that, something that we're not as entrenched in it. But could this guy, could Alex O'Connor, what he says in the video that we just watched, is this at all in line with, would it be as fundamental of a transformation if he turned to Christ? He is, in a way, breathing threats, kind of. He's going against and tearing down Christianity by his arguments. But I have subtly questioned in my heart whether Alex is already a believer. Because what he is doing, he is bringing Christianity to the forefront. And any question that is in any person's mind out there that disagrees with Christianity, he is voicing it. And the answers are coming back to him, and he is reflecting on it. So it's like, I'm wondering, I know he's not a Christian right now, and I don't think he believes it at all yet. And he is looking for an experience because he's seen that so many Christians out there have an experience. I myself had an experience, but I didn't believe in God at the time. And I was just kind of just caught off guard and made to believe in him because I was confronted. I can't even explain to you what it is. And I don't know if Alex is looking for something like that, but there are places in the Bible where an event will happen and people will look at the same event and come to different conclusions. Because God speaks from heaven, and some of the people are like, "Oh my gosh, God just spoke to you, Jesus. He just called you his son." Others were like, "No, it was an angel." And other people were like, "No, it just thundered." Everybody can look at the same scene with the same evidence and come to different conclusions. But Alex not saying he is... What caught me the most was at the end when he says, "If God did this, I would be the most staunch..." I don't remember how exactly he said it, like the Apostle Paul. I would be out on the forefront of Christianity like no other. And that's what I see happening. I see him different than other people because right now he is already talking about it. He is already, his mind is being flooded with Christians, with ideas about Christianity. So he knows what it's all about. And he's gonna have these years and years of experience of knowing what it was to be an atheist, because that is kind of like the name of the game right now. It's a lot of people that are atheists. They just don't want to think about it. They don't believe in God. They think all of this can be explained through evolutionary processes. He's had this background, and for Alex, if he was to turn to Christ, it would be game changer. It would be game changer. But then I think about his many followers that he has out there. And if you are one of them and you're listening to this and you buy into a lot of the things that Alex promotes, preaches, argues for, and really he doesn't preach anything. I think he's a lot of times just open, and he wants the truth. He wants the truth. But if he was to convert to Christianity, would you immediately discount him? Would you immediately say, okay, Alex he's drunk the Kool-Aid. We've lost him. Or would his conversion to Christ, would it mean anything to you? I think for everybody, it is different. Everybody, we have our own internal struggle that we are going through. And nobody is going through the same things. Nobody is in the same exact circumstance. And we are all chemically composed differently. We are all made up differently. And so many times I remember, like C.S. Lewis, he would talk about how it might be easier for someone to behave nice or act nice because they have a better digestion system. That it's easier for them. Their body, their chemical makeup is better than someone else that has it all together. And they don't struggle through that, And there might be more honor or blessing or altruism for somebody that is having to fight as much as possible to smile, as opposed to someone that smiling just comes natural and it comes out, it bleeds through. But Alex, the guys I go to Bill Maher, I go to Richard Dawkins, and then Alex. All three of them would be huge. Bill is just so like a comedy. He makes fun of it's so silly and funny and everything like that. But if he was to turn, that would be shocking. That would be absolutely shocking. I think of those three guys, but the one I wanted to focus on was Alex, because he is kind of the front and center right now in this kind of debate atmosphere that people are he's going into every conversation wanting to be convinced. He wants to be convinced. If Jesus is true, he wants to believe it. And the things that are pushing him back are he doesn't look at the historical manuscript evidence of Jesus's resurrection, and he doesn't buy into it. He doesn't think it's reliable. If you want to believe anything in history that happened, there is no event stronger recorded than the death, burial, and then the resurrection. I know it goes against our natural laws, but the only thing that could explain the massive conversion of the apostles, that these scared guys of doing this, having nothing to gain, because they didn't gain anything in this life. If they just died and they're gone, what did they get out of it? What did they get out of believing in Jesus and preaching Jesus? I think, and to get someone to believe, like there's nothing you can do or say. God is the one who has to change the heart. God is the one who has to give you that experience, I guess. And all you can do is tell people is trust in the Lord. Because it also says in the Bible, anyone who calls on the name of the Lord, anyone will be saved. Anyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. And it's when you call on him in truth, But this it was very interesting to me, and Alex actually talking about this. This looked like a few years ago. He looked younger then. Probably not. He's probably not in the exact same spot now. He's probably a little bit closer to Christianity and belief than he was even in that video. So when it happens, because I mean, just mark your calendar. I think God's got it on the calendar, and it's going to eventually happen. But there's nothing out there. There's not a bolt of lightning that's going to come down and just like, oh my gosh, I believe. It's if you really are open to it. If you really are open to God and you throw away everything else and you just start talking to him. Just start talking to him. And you actually try to believe as much as you can. And I think you will eventually, like the walls, the scales will come crashing down and your heart will be open to him. And he will get you at that point. He will get you. And once he's got you, he ain't going to let go. So I long for the day that Alex does it, because I think he would be a kind of a figure, a 21st century figure of the Apostle Paul that would just be, because he could go into the circles with all the his atheist friends and talk about this and just tell them, because he would be from that other side, just telling them from the new side. This is the new side, everybody get on board. All right. If you've enjoyed this video, hit this link and I'll see y'all in the next one.